Greetings, Mantua Township. Mayor Bob Zimmerman here with Mayor Message Video number 27. I'm here with newly minted Township Committeeman Jack Steen, who was sworn into office here on December 16th. Jack is replacing longtime Committeeman Pete Scirrotto, and Jack will be serving a one-year unexpired term through December 31st of 2025. So the purpose of this video, as always, to let our residents know about things that are going on within our community, and this is a very important new chapter of leadership with our Township Committee. We have two new committee people, and Jack is the first. So again, main purpose here is to introduce Jack and give Jack an opportunity to tell the residents about himself and why he wants to serve on Township Committee. How long have you lived in town and your history in the area? Can you tell our residents a little bit about your background from that aspect of things?
So I was born and raised in Camden and Gloucester County. I graduated from Deffer High School in 2000, and I've lived in Mantua for 15 years now.
I know you're married to Nicole. Can you tell us a little bit about your married life and your family and things that are important relative to what your residency is here in Mantua?
Yeah, so I've been married to my wife Nicole for 13 years. She's a teacher right now at Center City. She's worked in the school district since 2018. I have two sons. My son Jackson is in 8th grade at Clearview Middle School, and my son Gavin is in 6th grade at JMT.
So, Committeeman Steen, can you explain to our residents about your educational background and how your job as a software engineer will help you as a township committeeman in relationship to making decisions in this new leadership role?
So I'm a software engineer for University of Pennsylvania at the Wharton School of Business. I work on a team that creates sims for executive education in their MBA program there. And I've been a software engineer for probably close to 15 years now. I started in a couple of startup companies, and then from there I moved into higher education, which so far was one of my best career moves, doing something like that. I wanted to go get an advanced master's degree, you know what I mean? And I think a clever way to do that is to work for higher education or in higher education or university, to be exposed to all different types of opinions and ideas. So I got my bachelor's from St. Joe's. Like I said, I went to a couple tech startups as a software engineer, and then made my way to Rutgers University in Camden. That's where I got my master's in business administration, and then from there I ended up at the Wharton School, which is where I'm at now. Day in and day out, a software engineer needs to solve problems. It's really at the core of what they're doing. And they're doing it by coming up with creative ways to solve the problem. It's not just the fastest, easiest way. You have to try to come up with an efficient solution to something. So I think those skills that I practice on a daily basis will help. I think they'll transfer well to a position on the Township Committee.
I think it's important to mention we do have and have always had a very diversified Township Committee, meaning the 5 people that make up our committee all come from various backgrounds, not only professionally but even personally. So your background brings a new perspective. I think it's neat now. We have 5 committee people that all have bachelor's degrees, and 3 of us have master's degrees. So credit to you for going back and getting that education, and I think it will bode well in your efforts to be productive and effective as a new township committee person. I also wanted to mention the committee people have various liaison responsibilities. Committeeman Steen will be on the Finance Committee. He'll be on the Public Buildings and Grounds Committee along with myself, and he'll be on Municipal Alliance and Recreation as the liaison to both those committees. Your wife Nicole and I were talking, and she told me that you're one of the hardest workers that she knows. And I can certainly validate that through my experience. I've worked hand in hand with you in your other capacity as president of Mantua Little League. I'm just curious, how did you get the drive, that work ethic? That's one of the things that I think is very important. You know, it's not only the visibility, but it's being out and doing the job proactively.
I'm just a firm believer that, first of all, once you commit to something, you have an obligation to yourself and to the people around you just to give it your best effort, right? Like trying 50% or 75% is often not good enough. I think once you've committed to something, you absolutely have to follow through. You know, I grew up in a typical solid middle class family, you know what I mean, with 2 working parents, and I have 4 siblings. I was the 4th out of 5 siblings. You know, you have to find motivation in yourself to keep up, right? I had 3 older sisters that held me accountable, and a little brother who's bigger than me, and he always taught me a lesson. I think just having that motivation is kind of, I'd like to say I was born with it, but I think it is definitely something that you learn, and I think it comes with asking a lot of questions and constantly just being really open-minded about every single thing.
What made you want to serve on the township committee?
When I moved to this town, I frankly didn't know a whole lot about Mantua Township. Built my family here. My kids were born and raised here, and I think it's my way of paying back to a community that helped form my children, right? Like, I think I could confidently say that my kids are going to grow up to be good people just because they grew up in this town, so I think being able to be part of that and give back to that is important to me. And I've met so many good families and so many good people in this town that I think I just want to give back to them. I mean, it's really as simple as that.
But what goals or aspirations do you have in serving in this capacity? Is there anything that you could enlighten the residents on?
I took a real good look at the map lately of Mantua Township and realized how much of it is a rural area, right? And I think you go about your daily life day in and day out, and you don't really pay too much attention to how much space Mantua has that's wide open, right? And how important that is. And I think I want to try to make sure we preserve that going forward, just so that we don't, so we just have the open space is nice, Another thing, which I touched on a little bit in the Little League, which was just this idea of affordability, right? Something like affordability is not just important to people who can't afford things, but everyone needs to be able to afford just normal things, right? So at the Little League, for example, we try to make sure just to give the parents and the kids an opportunity to play sports, we make sure that we try not to increase prices and stuff like that, right? And I think from the township perspective, one thing that comes to the front of my mind is making sure that property taxes remain stable and that we don't put another burden on the residents' plates. That is just one more thing that they have to stress out about. One more thing I think is important, just public safety in general, right? Just the simple fact that we could pick up the phone and have emergency services here in less than 2 minutes is an advantage that a lot of people around the world don't have. There's towns in New Jersey and the rest of the United States that don't have the benefit of having such a safe community that we have. So I think that is another thing that I definitely want to focus on.
Yeah, that's definitely a very important fact. We have an incredible police department and fire department, and public safety is always paramount here in Mantua Township, and it's another thing that the Township Committee always wants to ensure that we all have here as residents in this community. What do you do in your spare time? What type of hobbies do you have? I know you're active with the Little League, you're active with your family, your kids are fairly young, but what do you do in your spare time when you have any spare time? Which is going to be less now, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I do coach. I'm not only the president of the Little League, but I've coached my sons for the entire time I was there, so that's a hobby for me, you know what I mean? I think I talk about my sons are getting to the point where they're going to age out of Little League and get into high school ball, but kind of enjoy the thought that I might be okay coaching kids that aren't mine, you know what I mean? It is something that I just genuinely enjoy doing. Music has been always near and dear to my heart, so I didn't really get into trying to play music until I was an adult, right? Which was it was interesting. The learning curve got a lot steeper as an adult, but that's something that I tinker around with, just trying to teach myself just how to play music on a regular basis. And then I think cycling out on the road, there's something about just getting on a bike and pedaling as hard and as fast as you can just to burn off some steam. That's a good hobby for me.
To kind of sum things up and close things out, we're thrilled to have you, Jack, on Township Committee. We're glad that you decided to expand your passion for service beyond Mantua Little League, and now as a Township Committeeman. We're blessed to have you, and we welcome you aboard. And closing things up, on behalf of myself and Deputy Mayor John Legge and the rest of the Township Committee, we look forward to our continuing service with honesty, integrity, and trustful leadership. Thank you for watching.